there.
Hi, welcome back to Curious Collection. I'm Will.
I'm Cinnamon.
So the last week we've been in our new office and we've been digging into that, all the inventory that we can't fit into the office. So basically our death pile, our backstock inventory, whatever you want to call it. And it hasn't been fun.
No.
So
it has taken both of us all week. And it's hard. It's hard to motivate yourself to list stuff that you have no interest in listing, which is why it's sitting in the death pile to begin with.
Right. So, but that's not entirely true. But in this specific case, very true. You guys remember back in December of last year, we had talked about how we had picked up a collection, an entire,
posh store,
vehicle store, full of newer Fiesta wear. A lot of it new with tags. And it's just been sitting. And then as we go to auctions, we've been picking up additional pieces with the idea that, okay, well, when we list it, we'll have complete sets. We'll be able to put the stuff together in higher dollar or more desirable lots. And so we've just been dragging our heels on it, putting it off. And we're at the point where we need the space. We've got to get it monetized, right? We've got to list it so we can sell it. Otherwise it's doing us no good.
Yeah, we have to get it closer to making us money.
Right. So we've had hundreds of dollars invested in this stuff. It's time to
and we've been doing nothing with it.
Trying to make some money back out of it. So it's been a struggle, and it's a challenge for us because it's an entirely new category. I've listed Fiesta in the past. I know that there's a market for it. It's a quality product.
But it has special names for the types of bowls or the types of plates or the colors.
Right.
Or
the volume. There's so many different things to know. You really do need to be an expert in the area, or, you need to brush up your skills. And that's really where I'm at, is it's been 3-4 years since I've listed any of this stuff. I don't remember what the pieces are called, what the colors are called. So I have to, go back to my references and reteach myself what's going on here. So, and then price comps, right? We know that pricing changes on these specific dishes. The color is going to dictate the price. Some of the pieces have been manufactured for 30 years, and some of them are only a year or two old. Some of them are retired. Those retired pieces can go for significantly more than a brand new piece. So it's been a real challenge. It's been a headache, but we finally got it all done, and it's starting to sell.
Yes.
So we've sold 2.
And that helps tremendously when you're like, I don't want to do this. It took both of us the entirety of the week to photograph and list and wrap and clean and, and get through all of it. But again, thank goodness that we did, because we were able to take 4 totes of loose dishes, and we were able to list them and get them put away properly, because now they're listed inventory, which is put away differently than unlisted inventory.
Right. So what I want to talk about today is the death pile. Is the death pile a curse of reselling, or is it a necessity of reselling, or is it somewhere in between? Is it actually a positive thing? And I really do think that having backstock inventory is important to our business model. We have operated in both situations where we've had an extremely large amount of unlisted inventory. And we've also been in a position when I first started, when I didn't have anything to sell. And every week it was I got to get to the thrift store. I got to get to estate sale or something. And it's desperation. It's you're going out. I have to find some things to list. I sold all this stuff. And then you fall flat because the sourcing isn't always dependable. Bless you.
Excuse me. Thank you.
Sorry about that, guys. So, sourcing is inconsistent. Sometimes we can go out and we can buy an entire collection, and that can last us for weeks.
Yeah.
I was talking about last week how I had a collection of ships ephemera that literally took me over a year focusing on it rather consistently to get through it all. There were
Mm-hmm.
thousands of pieces to list. And so, and again,
I think you're right, though. I think that one of the best benefits of having the death pile is that you're not desperate
Mhm.
for a buy. You know, and that changes the way that you buy things. I know I have 4 boxes of unlisted jewelry that's just waiting for me at home. So when I have the opportunity to buy jewelry, like, it really does need to be exceptional for me to pull
Mhm.
out my wallet, because like I have plenty of unnamed, just, you know, normal,
average.
right, average pieces. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't need to make a big buy of average pieces, because I have all of the average that I could ever want. So I'm not desperate. I can say no, and that's okay.
Right, right. And I don't think it's wrong to list average items. So
Mhm.
that is certainly something about our business model, is that we've talked about in the past, is that we do sell a lot of long tail items. Those
Mhm.
average pieces, there might be 2, 3, 400 of them listed on eBay that are very similar. And, you know, we'll still list it anyway, because eventually those average pieces,
Yeah.
you know, people do buy them. That's why they're so popular to begin with.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of people, oh, there's 100 of them. Okay, look at the comps. You know,
Yeah.
they sell. People do buy them. That's why they made that many.
Mhm.
So, you know, I think that for us right now, the struggle is getting that death pile, that backstock inventory worked down to a point that it's reasonable for
Mhm.
our space now. So you can see, just from what you can see in the camera, there's not a lot of room in this space. There's, you know, 3-4 feet between us and our chairs and the cabinets behind us. So it's basically
and the walls
enough.
are right here within reach as well on both sides.
Right. We can both touch a wall from where we sit.
Right.
So it is a very cramped space.
Cozy.
And
it's cozy.
And we have yet to figure out where that backstock's going to live. So my goal this next month basically is to work down that backstock inventory.
So right now it's in the girls' room, but like I don't think that they're going to appreciate that when they're actually here. So we'll probably have to get rid of it before then.
Right. That's definitely a priority for us. For us here in Florida, those daytime highs are getting into the mid 90s with high humidity. The heat index is well over 100 degrees. So there's not a lot going on with sourcing. There is some estate sales that we've popped into, but we haven't really picked anything up. So,
right. Yeah,
you know,
and
it's
any
a
of the
good time for us.
businesses that here specifically, any of the businesses that have something are going to try to hold off on selling their best items right now because the snowbirds aren't here. So they know that they're going to get better prices in a couple of months. So they're just holding on to stuff.
Right. And we're actually doing the same thing. We've got, you know, the trucks loaded, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to get in for an appointment to auction those types of items, to have them consigned at auction for probably close to 2 months. So that's also another pinch point for us, is the truck's full of stuff. And so we can't use the truck.
Yeah.
So, but that's another problem for another day. So, you know, what we're looking at is how do we maximize the space in our backstock inventory? How do we lot the stuff together in a way that, you know, some of the items might do better to just sell them as a bulk lot for another person to buy. Or it might make more sense to, you know, just box it up and send it to the auction house.
Yeah.
So,
well, I would say another benefit of having the backstock, like if we're just talking about pros and cons, one of the benefits is that you like to mix things up. Right. So you like to do postcards for a little bit, and then you like to move on to receipts or, you know, photographs or RPPCs or, you know, ship stuff, or you're in train mood, you know, what have you. So that's the nice thing about having some of this backstock, that you do have the opportunity to kind of pick and choose what you're in the mood to
right.
list.
And I think that that's important for everyone, is you have to be engaged and interested in what you're doing. I don't know how people do it that, just go out and buy items that they don't care about, and they're only buying it because it's valuable, or only buying it because it's a good deal and they know they can make money. As an example, all that Fiesta ware. So another thing, just from, looking in the viewer of this video, the KitchenAid mixer there we picked up, and neither one of us have a real desire to list the stupid thing. I don't have any interest in packing it. It took a week sitting on the counter to get it cleaned.
Yes, in our kitchen, like just sitting on the kitchen counter, like looking at it every day. And I'm just like, oh.
Right.
So again, it's one step closer now. It's all cleaned.
Right,
we went through it. Now we still have to take pictures and...
Right. But again, that is the challenge of buying things that maybe you can make money on,
but you don't have any
interest in. So that's why we always say, just stick to what you are interested in and really, go after that. Because in my opinion, in my experience,
so much easier to photograph it and list it and get it moving if we have interest.
Right.
That helps with the motivation.
I find that I'm generally disinterested in all kitchenware.
Mm-hmm.
So buying kitchenware to sell, probably not a great thing for me personally.
No, and I think we're very, very much burned out of kitchenware at this exact second in time. Which again, I think could be a benefit of having a death pile, is that you can kind of go in spurts and be like, okay, well, we'll do kitchenware for a little while, or, okay, well, let's move on to this other category.
Right. And I know that other sellers do the same thing. If you're a clothing seller and one day you're on shirts and next day you're on pants, and then maybe you will spend a day on ties, I absolutely understand that, because, it can be very repetitive. It can be very mind numbing in my experience. Like after I list, 50, 60 postcards, I'm like, I can't look at another postcard for a week because I'm just burnt out on postcards. And then I start going and questioning myself. Did I miss something in my listings because I was trying to go so fast, or because I've looked at the same screen 1,000 times, seemingly, So, I think it is important to mix it up. But so for me, like having the death pile is some comfort. It does give me some comfort. It lets me know, like, hey, you don't have to worry if, just as an example, 2 weeks ago, we had 2 weeks back to back where our eBay payout was $500. Well, that doesn't leave anything for sourcing. It doesn't even pay the bills. So when you start getting multiple weeks like that, and then if we didn't have that inventory sitting there, it would have really put us in a difficult place. Right,
because we don't have to buy inventory if things are really getting desperate.
Right, and that's really the thing is, your mind starts doing that is, well, do I just take the money? Do I cash out, or do I reinvest? When there's bills to be paid, it puts you in a difficult situation that, it's hard to put that bill on hold so you can buy inventory in the hopes that you might be able to sell it in the future. So I think it's important for us to have, I'm not opposed to having backstock inventory. I do have to figure out some way to store some of it.
It can't get so overwhelming that you're like, okay, well, now it's hopeless.
So one of the things that I was thinking about was that I've seen some people, they have storage units, they have multiple storage units or multiple sheds where they keep their backstock inventory. And again, that's all stored separate than their listed inventory, which could be multiple sheds or storage units. We've talked about the cost associated with storage. Even for us here, relatively average size home, there's only so much space, without a basement or an attic or, some other additional, climate controlled space. It really is tough to figure out how do you live and still run this type of business. So
you have to be very cognizant of every single item that you bring in, because where does it live?
Right. So one of the things I was thinking is, like, what kind of advice would I give to somebody about the volume of backstock that they have, the volume of that death pile? And I think it really depends on the person, the type of inventory that you're selling, and your tolerance for discomfort with regard to that
Yeah.
When I start looking at a single tote of paper, there can be 10,000 pieces of paper in a single tote. One tote of paper would probably be enough to get me through the majority of a year.
Yeah.
For listings. Whereas the jewelry, you could probably list one box of jewelry a month, maybe.
Yeah, I don't even know that I could do that much.
When it's small.
Yeah, it's so small. It's so small. And like before it's listed and put into individual envelopes and stuff like that, like there are thousands of pieces of jewelry in like a shoebox. So
right.
I don't even know that, like I probably already have a year's worth of jewelry if I just sat there and listed every day. No, I've got a lot. Yeah. But it doesn't take up very much room, which is awesome, because all of my back stock is in the file cabinet behind me, and that includes all of my back stock and like my fixtures and my like everything that I need for my business is all in that one file cabinet. I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely packs down much easier than some other categories do.
Yeah,
so
dishes, I mean, we had four big totes full of dishes before it was wrapped and there was listed and everything.
Probably close to 150 pieces. So again, a lot of volume, a lot of research, a lot of time, a lot of weight. That was part of the reason that we had to redo our floors, is because
it had to be able to
support that much weight.
Yeah.
So, when you're on a crawl space, it's something that I don't know that people consider. But like if you're living in an apartment or if you're living in a house with a crawl space, there's a lot of weight associated with this stuff. Some of these file cabinets
are stupid heavy. Holy crow.
Over 200 pounds a piece.
Yeah.
And then you add the contents. So you're talking about an insane amount of weight, that's sitting on these floors. They're not designed for that. So
so they got to be reinforced. And,
right.
Yeah.
Right. So there's definitely a lot of stuff that's been going on around here. I hope everyone else is having a great July. And we're looking at August just around the corner. So
yeah, craziness. Yeah, man, it goes by fast.
So why don't you drop us?
Before we know it, it's going to be Q4 though, so that's okay. I'm ready for those numbers. Yeah, for sure.
I'd love to hear what you think is going to happen in Q4, but maybe
it's gotta
tomorrow.
Be better than right now. Yeah,
maybe tomorrow. So, thank you for stopping in. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And we'll see you guys on the next video.
All right. Thanks. Good luck to you guys out there. Mm-hmm.